Welcome to Weapon Blueprint, the weekly series where I, gasoline based, take you through every weapon in TF2 and put them up for review for your pleasure. This time we're taking a look at a prime example of a TF2 unlock that works very well, the Conniver's Kunai. I'll get into why I feel that way later on in the video. This video consists of 3 sections. The first section covers the history of the weapon, both in the real world as well as in the TF2 universe, and the appearance of the weapon often related to the history of it. The second section talks about the stats and gameplay mechanics that the weapon provides. There will be made comparisons with both stock weapons and other unlocks, as well as in-depth analysis of the damage and timers that the weapon provides. The third section opens a discussion about beneficial strategies using the weapon, featuring gameplay of the weapon itself. This section is open discussion, as I can only speak my own opinion, so feel free to express your opinion in the comment section below the video. The kunai is a Japanese tool around 40 cm, which was used by common folk as a multi-purpose gardening tool. It would initially seem to be a tool similar to a knife, but it acts more like a crowbar, like an all-purpose, like you could use it for anything. The sides were often blunt because of its use as a hammer, and not sharp as a lot of people tend to believe. Actually, only the tip of the kunai would be sharp, and were used for purposes where heat-treated metal would not suffice. With the rising popularity of the ninja culture, the kunai was being pictured as the primary weapon of a ninja, often seen in many manga. It's often pictured as a throwing weapon, however the real use for the ancient ninjas was more of a utility weapon for climbing, stabbing, opening doors, and making a spear. In modern days, it's often used when practicing the arts of ninja in ninjutsu. The weapon in-game starts the spy out at a mere 65 health, clocking in at 90 with full overheal. This makes the spy very squishy at first, but with a backstab the spy will steal the health of the victim and gain overheal up to 185, which will drain 4 times slower than the overheal of a medic. Backstabbing a player will also remove all bleed and burn effects when you gain the heal. If you wish to craft yourself a kunai, you'll need 1 scrap metal and 1 your eternal reward. Taunting with the kunai will play the standard fencing spy taunt as well with the spy standard knife. I feel like this weapon actually really encapsulates the real world equivalent, where it was both used as a weapon but also for great utility tool. What I mean by this is it's more of a tool of getting your health buffed and then being able to use your primary gun or revolver, your ambassador. It of course can still backstab ordinarily, and that might sometimes be the best in maybe in most cases, but I really feel that this knife is focused so much more on the gunplay, as you can have quite the buff to take people on. You are often in a bad situation if you're fighting an NG, a scout, or a pyro, even if you got the first shot, but now that you have more health than they do, and it's very much possible to pick a 1v1 with these classes, especially if you get the first shot on them, which is highly plausible if you use your cloak correctly. Speaking of cloak, as always, there are 3 you can choose from. Personally, I prefer the Dead Ringer with the kunai, but I'm pretty sure that's just because I generally love the DR, and because you're so squishy, you can take that feign anyway, like a rocket would kill you instantly if it's just near you, if it just grazed you. But with the DR, you can feign and it kind of negates that downside. Now I tried it out with the other watches, and it actually works very well for both the Invis watch and the Cloak and Dagger, because if you stab someone, all bleed and fire will be removed, which is something I really cherish with the Dead Ringer in pubs. The Cloak and Dagger can be used to camp for the picks to get your health up and go nuts with the revolver, and the same goes with the Invis watch, which is like a watch in between the two if you want to mix it. Now, getting back to what I said in the intro, that this is a prime example of a TF2 unlock, I meant that it is not in any way overpowered because you're so squishy at first. And let's be honest, you're probably better off using the Spicicle, or if you're into the stock knife. But it allows these occasionally streaks of kills, and that is what, in my opinion, makes this weapon not super useful, but extraordinarily fun. Now there's one thing. Don't try to take on a Sentinist or anything like that without a buff. Try to go for smaller targets, easier targets, play with shitty hats on because they can't aim. Go for them because you can get your buff up and then you can do a lot more work. So definitely this is like the pub knife. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Weapon Inspection. Now I would like your help to pick next week's weapon. So all you have to do is click on the weapon you would like, and the one that gets the most votes will be featured in next week's episode. That's all for now. If you want to be notified when a new episode is out, feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Gaslight Days.